the theme for this morning is collaboration, the new capital. Okay? And the question we have, the very first one we have, simply says, how can we foster collaboration, a culture of collaboration? And that is actually coming to you. Okay, how can we foster a culture of collaboration? And from your own experience, what are the benefits, of collaboration, with other people, especially if you look at church, maybe church members. So first, how do you foster collaboration? And then what are the benefits of such collaboration?
Okay, fantastic. Good morning, everyone.
And by the way, my name is Joshua.
Hi.
And I'm married. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Such an honor to be here. Thank you so much to the GHarvestChurch for having us. So let me just dive right into it. So in terms of collaboration, right, when I got the topic and I was thinking, I was going to say, easy. Collaboration is basically when resources from different angles come together. That's a simple way to think about collaboration. Now, in terms of fostering collaboration, I think that one thing that helps is the mindset of what collaboration is and how useful it is. Right? Why is collaboration simple? I'll give stories from the Bible, right? A lot of things that were done in the Bible were not done alone, right? The greatest example, the Son of Man came to do what? I need you to, that's not a rhetorical question. To die for us. So that was the action. But what was needed for that action? So there were things that built up towards that action. Right? So we had the disciples, they had their parts to play. Collaboration. They came together, they traveled together, they fed together, they fought together. They went through those trials together, but they did it what? Together. Collaboration. Right? We saw David, we saw Moses, when God parted the Red Sea, they were going forwards. I need you guys to please interact with me. Exactly, thank you.
So maybe you will help her by the quick response to encourage her, please.
Thank you so much. So you see in these different instances, you see collaboration in play. It may not look like collaboration in plain sight, but it is, right? People working together, bringing different resources together. That is collaboration. Now the benefits, right, is things work faster, better, for everyone, right? So if in the business space now, if I'm trying to achieve something, I'm trying to start a business. There are different arms to starting a business. I need to register a business. Who do I need? I need a lawyer, right? I need to structure my business. I would need someone in operations. I need to keep my business safe. I would need someone in securities, investments. I need to grow my money. So these different arms, right, it builds an holistic view for collaboration. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. I mean, you took it off. At some point, I thought you were not going to focus on business because I was hoping that was where we're going to land it. So thank you for taking that step and initiative to make sure we land on the business point. Okay. But I hope that actually benefits us. Again, thank you for also being a bit pastoral or a preacher.
Hallelujah.
Please, a round of applause for her for that question. For the answers. Now, I'm going to take this to the next level with Mr. Oke. So, incidentally, this question was connected to something somebody said to me yesterday. When Mr. Aluze was speaking, someone stepped out and was leaving. And then I stopped him just to ask what was going on. He said he has to catch up with another thing. Then I tried to just engage him and all of that. And then he was talking about that part of what he was saying about, aggregation of data and all of that has to do with collaboration and all of, but he thinks that, the church is not a place where he wants to do such a thing because he has burnt his hand a couple of times working with people in church to collaborate on business. So this question actually connects more to that, right? And the question is, what are some of the common challenges or obstacles that can hinder effective collaboration? And how can these, challenges be overcome?
Thank you very much.
And in the line of business.
All right, got you. So, she defined collaboration. There was a particular missing phrase I'm looking for. For a common purpose. I think she expressed it.
Yes, she said
so,
it.
Both gifts, skills are coming together for one singular objective. And that's that's the basis of collaboration, and to foster growth. So one of the biggest hindrances, both in the church and outside the church, in particular in the church, is competition. There's too much competition. I want to be my own CEO. I want to be my own CEO. So you find 4 guys making, for example, sugar, doing the same thing at the same scale, fighting for the same market. When the 4 of them can come together, fight for the same market at a larger scale. I always say that 1% of 1 billion is better than 100% of 1. So that is number one. There's big issue of competition. There was a research, I'm a farmer, there was a research where they put, if you are into, I do egg production, so if you need eggs, come to me. So this, you have, when they are growing, you have birds that they start pecking. There's serious competition. You find some particular birds who peck on they are the largest, so there was a research done, official. These birds were high producers. When they looked at their trade, they were the ones producing the eggs most. And when they observed them more, they found out that the reason why they were the highest producers of eggs, they were pecking on their fellow birds. They pecked them to death or pecked their eggs. And so what they did was to separate them, take them out, they put one in a cage called the red zone, another one, the group that were not pecking, in the green zone, and watch them over a period. The ones in the red zone, which were the peckers, they pecked themselves to death. Out of maybe about 20, there was only remaining 3. And the ones in the green zone, production rose by 250%. So it goes, so I just brought it back home to try and explain to you that competition is bad. Negative competition is unhealthy. You can compete positively and collaborate. So number one, too much competition. Number 2, trust. The brother said he's gotten his hands burnt. Now, trust, yes. But number 2 is that there are no structures. And that's why a lot of times it looks as if there's no trust. And that's what we've been trying to teach in the Business Insight. I am your brother. I know you. Does not mean that I should give you my life savings to go and invest in one business because I've known you for 10 years in church. Dot the I's. That will minimize issues of trust because people assume, oh, I thought you said we are going to share the money tomorrow. Whereas in my mind, I said we'll share the money when the project is done after 1 year. Then competition starts, quarrel starts, then one person start trying to outdo the other because they didn't dot the I's, not because they're naturally bad persons. And same thing happens in the public space. There must be a contract to avoid misunderstanding and miscommunication. Those 2 primary issues hinder collaboration.
Thank you so very much. I was going to actually interject at some point, but I felt there was need to allow you flow with that conversation because I think there are many people who may need to gain some insight and experience on this. So please, let's give him a round of applause. I want to believe this is quite insightful. The example of the board you gave also is a very, very critical one because you'll find how animals and case studies like this help us to drive home the point. So I think this is one thing that we may need to even emphasize more in subsequent events we want to do. Maybe speak more to this and see how we can actually help people build structures to understand the process. And hopefully that will help us grow a whole lot more. So thank you very much for that. This question is for you, Mr. Diza. He said, can you use some practical examples to explain the theme, collaboration, the new capital, in a simplified form for our understanding?
Okay, fantastic.
So with example, meaning businesses you've done, for example, and
Okay, so I'll use a very recent example. I'll use Vesti, for example. So, so I'm here on the Vesti umbrella.
Expectedly.
And Vesti is a migration fintech. Essentially, Vesti provides quite a number of services. We provide migration services, fintechs, financial services. We have an app. We have a card. We have quite a number of services. We have travel services, quite a number. So, to give an example, each and every one of these services, we need collaboration to fulfill them. For example, because of the regulations in different countries, let me bring you home to Nigeria, there are certain limitations, but there are also solutions that may not be found internally within, but found externally. Let me give an example. For one of the services that we provide, let me say card services. So you get a card from Vesti, right? And under the card, under the umbrella of the card, we collaborate and partner with another financial institution to fulfill the service of that card.
What sort of card is this?
It's a debit card. It's a Naira debit card.
Okay,
It's a
all right.
MasterCard. You can use it for different platforms to buy online, offline. Right, so to fulfill the service that we are saying, that you can use our card to pay for any subscription or to go to the supermarket and pay, right, we collaborate with financial institutions that allow us to fulfill that service. Now, let me use the tech ecosystem now as a whole. We see how tech is growing, AI is growing, different angles to it, right? ChatGPT, for example. ChatGPT as a whole would answer if you ask ChatGPT, what is the Naira equivalent today to dollar? Right? ChatGPT as a whole would give you that information, but not without something in the back end that the API has collaborated with to give you that information. Google as well. So every service that you see, for example, the church as a body, there are different departments, right? And they collaborate for each service. So we have the protocol team, the logistic team, the ushering team, the different teams that come together to make service successful. So I would say those are practical ways, right? I can give another example. At Vesti, we also provide a service called Elite Pass. It's an airport concierge service. So if you're trying to travel, you're trying to skip the queue, you don't want to stress, we have services and we collaborate with people at the airports that fulfill these services because Vesti on our own are not able to fulfill the service. So that's collaboration in action. In everything that your body as a whole collaborates. Your hand, your brain, your leg, your feet, everything.
Thank you so very much. I think you've been able to drive this home. And I want to believe that going granular and sharing those experiences will help some of us also understand how not just to manage things in the cocoon, but also reach out to people who have expertise in those areas that can help us achieve better results. So thank you. Please, another round of applause for him, please. For her, rather. This is to you, sir. Okay? He says, how can we leverage collaboration to drive growth, innovation, and impact in our church community? I know that recently we tried doing some things, we look at the different departments. We say, for example, men and women, fellowship, collaborate with, medical, benevolence, and Corpus Connect to do something together. But from your own insight and business, and how can we put that into a very good effect in terms of driving growth, innovation, and impact in our church?
Thank you very much. So, focusing on the church, if you have different departments, I'm talking as ERN right now, as a businessman, we're looking at empowering people to do business, to have multiple streams of income, to buy properties that we've been driving. You are the head of a unit. First, you want to understand the needs of your unit, the people in the unit. So when they finally push the request to maybe, let me play a very clear scenario. There was a group I belonged to in church. We had bank managers, branch managers, and I needed funds. But the branch manager or the regional manager was not in my group. Okay? Or let me play another scenario so I don't get the branch manager in trouble. I needed to recover funds from someone who was owing me. So I reached out to somebody in another group who is a director in that bank. And it was more like, I don't have money, and he needed to pay us. So what the guy did was to connect me to the person who I didn't know directly. And we were able to recover the funds because we now had information that, yes, he had money to pay us for the service we rendered. So that is collaboration from a business perspective. I belong to a group in church. You belong to a group in church. I need information to buy a property. What's happening in the tech sector, in the travel sector, in the migration sector? I will not have access to her, but you have access to her. So the group heads need to discuss. What are the needs of my members? Bringing it down to church. What are the needs of my members? Not just, bringing more members to church. Of course, that's growth orientation. But we're looking at how do we empower our members to grow in business. So, or you work in an FMCG outfit, which has been happening recently, and you know there's an opening in a territory. You post it on the group and share it, which I think was shared across multiple groups. And members of the church took interest and started applying for that dealership. That is collaboration community-wise. And that, I think, is more ideal for the church.
Indeed. I think that's an ideal part to take. Thank you for that feedback. I think the other part that comes to mind from what you previously shared is the need to also understand that collaboration is exclusive of competition. Because when you are driving towards a common goal, it's not about outshining each other. It's actually about how do you achieve a goal to lift the church up and to lift your oneness up. So I think we should give him a round of applause again for this. I think it's a very strong point we need to note. I'm watchful of time because I'm not going to ask for any increase in time. We need to respect the time and stick with it so that we can go with the flow of today. So, but I have one more question here, which I think you might be able to help us answer in 1 minute. I'm sure you can do that. What does it cost to use Vesti as agents for work, talent, visa application in US and Canada? This is a question, I think, rising from yesterday that somebody wants to know. Were you here yesterday?
Yes, I was, of course.
Okay, so you can answer that quickly.
Okay, so first thing, Vesti is not an agent. Right. So we're a company that helps legal global mobilization. Right. So I just wanted to correct. That's the first thing I heard. Once I heard agent, it rang in my head. Then answer the
35 minutes is gone. So
35, like 10 seconds.
35 seconds, so that's gone.
Okay, let me answer the rest of the question. Can you? So the person said
costs.
Mm-hmm. Cost.
Yes. What does it cost to use your service for work, talent, visa application into US, Canada?
Okay, so that's just a generic question, right? The cost for different pathways differs.
So they can actually see you
yes,
after
you
this session,
see me
right?
And see our,
so whoever posted
Director
that question
Business
can actually see Hadiza
yes.
After this. But there is this last one, I think, I don't know who should take it. I think both of you can contribute 1 minute to that. We have 2 minutes. We will not pass this time. Okay? So how do you integrate faith-based values like honesty, fairness, and compassion into daily business decision without compromising competitiveness? You can start with that.
Without compromising competitive.
Yes. How do you bring in that thing? We call it honesty. We say all those. How does that work in a daily business?
Okay, so in collaboration, honesty is number one. Without honesty, you can't collaborate. There's suspicion. There will be no innovation, because if I drop my money and said, okay, run the business, every time there's a procurement, you want to open a new branch, you're thinking, oh, you have marked it up. I mean, very synonymous to that society. So honesty is super key, and you must know yourself. So there's a place for bonding. Don't just jump into collaboration. There has to be a time of getting to know each other, and there will be frictions. Don't lie to yourself. there will be frictions, and you have to
So,
deal
so
with
this
those
is something
things.
you have to do intentionally,
Yes,
with
yes,
deliberateness.
yes.
You agree with him?
I completely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have another thing to
Yeah, I
add to
just
that?
want to add that in terms of honesty, right, we're all human beings. There's a tendency to be dishonest, but fight that tendency. But I just want to say, always dot your I's and cross your T's.
Thank
right?
you very
The lawyer
much.
in me just comes in, have your MOUs, have your SLAs, pen things down.